I'm here to see Mr. Abhulime Ehiagwina. Yes, please. Hello viewers out there, it's another beautiful day. It's about 3:30 Nigerian time somewhere in the heart of Lagos. And we're here today to engage one man, the CFO / alternate MD of one of the communication firms in Nigeria, Smile Communication. Is another person but Ehiagwina Abhulime. Why not sit back, relax, join me on this episode. Join me, just join me. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How's it been?
Welcome. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. How's work going?
No.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
Smile.
Yeah, smile. I have to learn to smile. Okay, so we are here to have you on our show today. Viewers, this is the guy. I told us downstairs when I was about coming in, we'll be engaging one guy today that wears 2 caps. CFO / alternate MD. He's going to talk about that. You know, I tried reading through his profile and I found out he's wearing these 2 caps. When it's time to talk, we'll talk, and you get to pick your own points from that. Meanwhile, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. It is still the Mind of Business with DB Adebayo. We'll be right back. Viewers out there, welcome back again. Like I said, it's the Mind of Business with DB Adebayo, and today we are with Abhulime Ehiagwina. The interesting part of my conversation with him today revolves around these 2 caps. So let's start with that. Then we'll go into some other things later. So, my brother, how has it been like wearing these 2 caps? And I think you should tell the viewers these 2 caps you wear actually.
Okay, so I'm the Chief Financial Officer of Smile. A few months after joining, the MD left. And what we have now, in the last 2.5 years, we have an alternate or rotational MD system between my colleague, Chief Technical Officer, and I. We do 3 months on, 3 months off.
Interesting.
For 2.5 years.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's an interesting model. Different styles, different perspectives. You know, but then we do a lot of joint, if you like, joint decision making.
Okay.
To sell the business, yeah.
Okay. Now, looking at your person, it's been finance. Yes, at some point you were the CEO of one of the telecommunication firms also. So, at what point did you cross to that CEO role? Yes, the CFO is the C-suite role, kind of also. But the CEO is like an umbrella role. So, at what point did you cross? Because I'm trying to look at the alternate MD role and I'm trying to balance it. We're still going to go back to the foundation of your being a financial person anyway. But at what point did you cross, from that CFO to that CEO or MD role?
Yeah, so I would say really at the top of organizations, you have your technical area. But at the end of the day, every top manager is conscious of what the goals and objectives of the organization are. So you stop always wearing finance hat, sometimes you wear commercial hat, sometimes you wear HR hat. So across board. So over time you will find that whenever there are vacancies or need to relieve, you find myself being called on, sometimes some other colleague. So really it's a thin line at the very top. You don't stay in your comfort
zone, yeah.
And shy away from executive management as it were. So yeah, and I think training also helps.
Okay, now the alternate part of it, and I'm taking you back to that because I'm trying to look at the sync in strategy implementation. As a firm, you have a strategy planned out for the year, and so probably you're running for 2 months or 3 months. The other person comes to run for another 2-3 months. So the handshake, how seamless has it been, kind of?
Yeah, because it's not a very large organization. Naturally, I would say that has gone well, and we meet at least 2-3 times a week, just operational review.
Okay.
There's all on the same page on most activities. So So really, it's gone seamless. And like I said, it's an acting role.
Yeah.
We're both acting for 2.5 years. And so far so good.
It's been fine.
So, it does help. Different styles. You try something, it's not working. Somebody else comes
and try his own approach. And when it's your turn, you have all the authorities of that office, right?
Oh yes. So there's organizations we have delegation of power and division of authority. So when you're acting as MD, you will exercise those functions. But it's typically what happens really in leadership. At some point, you don't really ask yourself, do you have the authority to do it? That's not the first thing you ask yourself.
In leadership, at some point, you don't ask yourself if you have the authority.
That's not the first.
Please, hit that.
You convince yourself that this is the best line of action for your organization. And then you convince others, because you're not the one who's going to do it all. You have a team. And then, of course, you go to your board if the values are beyond your So really, that's it. There are always opportunities coming up in the market space.
Okay.
Strategy, operations, and all of that. So you make the best decisions you believe for the organization.
So it's important for us to focus on something, and which has to do with the main aim around this program, and that has to do with training the upcoming generations of career professionals, entrepreneurs. And you said something now, you said convincing yourself that this is the best way to go. Then the second phase of that is convincing your team members. And if it's something that warrants approval, you have to take it further to convince the board.
Yeah.
Now, I'm repeating all of this because I see this point as the learning point actually. And it means that I should be able to sit down to ask myself questions around steps I want to take. I should get convinced first, be it as a career professional, be it as a business person. I should be personally convinced first. All right, so let's come to the person of Ehiagwina.
Yeah.
So, who are you? If someone should just come across that name and they say, who is this guy? How would you describe this guy?
Well, I would say a professional who spent the last 3 decades plus working in various organizations. I see myself as sometimes I call myself a serial CFO because I've been CFO in maybe 4 or 5 organizations.
Okay.
Across the industry. Married, got 3 kids. I enjoy relaxing when I'm not working.
And what? Watching movies, okay.
I even went into movies.
Production.
Yeah, as an executive producer.
Sorry, I'm just.
Yeah, just
that's interesting.
Just like people buy land. So I look at movies as properties as well. So I think I'm invested in 2.
Oh, that's interesting.
I was in the box office in 2019.
Oh, great.
Production. Just something different.
That's good. That's good.
At time.
That's good. Which means investment-wise, you can be unpredictable.
You can say that again. So put it this way: I'm an accountant, a finance guy. So naturally, as this goes, you're risk averse by training. So you do the things that are not so risky. You don't invest.
Yeah.
Property, land, property you can never go wrong in life. Pay for that house, forget it, no tenant in 3 years, somebody will come in.
Exactly.
When you talk of pension planning and all of that, there are certain
areas you want to just invest in.
Mutual funds and all of that, some do bonds. But then, I enjoy watching movies. So at some point I said to myself, why don't I
invest in this?
Invest in one of these productions, get to understand it. So I did that on the side just to...
And how was it, the experience then?
Yeah, I was...
Profitability-wise, experience-wise?
Yes, I wasn't deeply involved in producing. Full-time telco finance person. So it was more like a financial investment, like you buy a plot of land or you build a house.
And you resell and things like that.
So, the production process, some of the bits that I did get involved in, I could say Nigerian actors are doing a great job in very difficult working conditions. I give an example. You want to shoot a movie, you can't have the air conditioners on here because the noise will affect the guy recording the sound. So you've got the clean lights, bright lights, and then people have to stay in character. If you're supposed to be happy, you have to look happy. The corporate world, you try that, half of the people will go home and tell you, I'm going to work from home. But these guys have to put up a show. Sometimes they work long hours as well. You know, the pay could be better. So you find that, I mean, my experience was there's people who are passionate
about this.
And when I look at the future, I believe Nigerian cinema, Nigerian movies will do what football did to Nigeria in the 90s, what music did last few years with some of our boys.
Which is still doing anyway.
The movie industry in a few years' time will blossom. And that's all part of your...
It's actually interesting to have a financial person, the telco finance person, talking about the movie industry. All right, so I picked something from the statement you just concluded now. You talked about the fact that you're an accountant. Accounting, finance. How did you get yourself into the accounting, discipline or profession? How did it start from your course of study selection and all of that? How did it start?
Okay, so yeah, I like that question because when I look back, I say, wow, okay, really, this is how it happened. Form 3, somebody comes to school. I went to Janiki Federal Corporation. Some banker comes and he's giving a career talk. And he says he's an accountant, he works in a bank. At that time, I wasn't sure what I wanted to read. So Form 4, even up to Form 5, I did physics, chemistry, biology, literature, PK. I did arts and sciences.
I see.
So that at the point in time I could decide.
Arts and sciences.
I did all the subjects.
Oh, that's
physics,
interesting.
Chemistry, biology, literature, PK, economics, maths, English. I did all.
Wow.
But by then I was already sure I wanted to do accounting. I decided I wanted to read accounting. So yeah, I went to read accounting. Came out, started work, then did an MBA from Unilag. Yeah. Spent 10 years in oil and gas. Total.
Still in accounting.
Yeah, still finance roles. Health, then Health became Total. Total became Total.
Total Fina Health. Yeah.
And then I left after 10 years to a different world called the telco world. Yeah. So.
Okay, now, so if we trace this back, then we can say to ourselves that that guy that came visiting to talk about career actually inspired you then to go into this.
Yeah, I would say that because first and foremost, I'm numerate, always been.
The figure
person.
person.
Always been into, always numerate, even without using calculators and all that. So I've always had that flair, so it just made sense to me. I'm not going to do accounting.
I see.
Out of law. I said law. Maybe later you need law. No longer you need law, you need that.
Yeah.
So that's gone. Medicine,
Viewers, I believe you're enjoying this conversation. He's just told us how he got into accounting. And for me, it means we should open up ourselves to information. The fact that he was able to open himself up to information during that presentation led him into accounting. And he's journeyed, across sectors, from oil and gas to telco and all of that. We'll be right back after this time out. Stay tuned. Yeah, you're welcome back. It's still the Mind of Business with DB Adebayo. I just cut in the other time. I didn't allow him finish. You wanted to say something? Hey, you were saying something the other time.
I just wanted to make that point that you don't need to read accounting or finance to be an accountant.
Oh, interesting. Please talk about that.
You could read that. A lot of my colleagues who read engineering.
Okay.
I know some who read medicine.
Okay.
I know some who read arts as well. So at some point, the important thing is go to school, get an education. Come out after your youth service. You can decide what you want to do. If you decide to become an accountant, then you go into articleship, and then you start writing the professional exams. Even when you read accounting, you still need to write the professional exams. And then you become chartered, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Some now do the
Or a CCA or whatever. Yeah.
And all of that. So at any point in time, I mean, these days you can decide to pursue a different career interest.
Apart from what you read in school.
Yeah, I mean, the average American, they say, has 4 careers in his lifetime. Some as late as 50. So don't ever see yourself as being pigeonholed in one place.
Wow. I hope you guys are picking this point. Never see yourself as being pigeonholed in one place. You can actually study a course, come out, chase your dream, but do a very good job when it comes to discovering that dream. I think that's what he's talking about. Because if he's telling us now that you have engineers as accountants today, maybe first degree in engineering, but today they are finance people and all of that. Okay, all well, and I mean, that well said. Now, I'm still a bit interested in your personality, because for me, finance is a role that demands for some certain values.
Yeah.
So let's go back to your growing up days. Like Obama wrote a book on lessons from my father, or the something my father taught me or something. So if you have to write the same book, what would you say about growing up and lessons you picked from?
So growing up was very exciting. I grew up in this neighborhood still. My father was a civil servant working Radio Nigeria. My mom was a teacher. So initially, the 70s we were in a block of flats, 6 flats not far off from to civil service. As you get higher, you move to different accommodation. So right from the early days, I was living in a multi-ethnic
settings.
So Nigeria, always in Nigeria as multi-ethnic. So everybody spoke English. That was lingua franca for the kids. Then you would ride bicycles across houses. There were no fences. So people would ride their rally chopper and all of that. Not to everybody in the neighborhood. Even till now, some of the really good friends you have are people you grew up with. And I also say, it's mentioned as a cliche, but it's not so.
Okay.
It's actually real. Now, you ride your bike or you stray 2 streets away, your friend's mom will ask you, where are you going?
Then.
And I'm talking of the urban areas now, I'm not talking of village settings.
Not the communal settings.
Yeah. Where are you going? How's your mom? So everybody looked after everybody. But by and large, in the 70s, where my parents gave us a good living. They did the best they could, and no one ever dictated, read this
or read that.
We always had to make those decisions ourselves. So that kind of helped a great deal going on.
But what are those points you like? Maybe memories you can't forget. Maybe your dad trying to teach you something as part of what you are holding on to today that is making you stand out. You're smiling.
So I do remember when I was in nursery 2, maybe nursery 2, Form 1.
Okay.
And maybe that also, I don't know if that influenced my career choices, I don't know. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. I go to his room. 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 4, 2 times. So we move from 2 times.
Just to recite.
Yeah.
So there is a time to that.
Saturday morning. Just starting primary school. Multiplication tables.
Wow.
So from very young, I guess that's where
the figure thing.
Adding and subtracting, So for some reason, it made me do that.
And what did you pick from that?
Yeah, well, he's an engineer, as it were, an electronic engineer. So he probably was trying to ensure that we have good mathematics, skills in maths.
Okay, that's the way you see it.
At that time.
Okay.
Me too. But now I think when you look back, I think he was just trying to also do some home study, if you like. You go to school, you come back, homework, that's sorted. So now he wants to do his own. Let me see how I can add to this fellow's life.
I see.
Multiplication tables, that was my own cross.
And were there punishments or disciplinary actions then if at any point you are found wanting? Well,
I would say I was, I'm afraid to say this on camera, but they never beat me when I was growing up. You know, it's crazy. So maybe I was always well behaved, you know.
Or maybe you were acting the role well.
Yes, I think I've always been kind of on this straight and narrow. So I never had that experience of they tell you come back home by 6 and I'm out on the streets at 6:30 growing up. So the reason why people used to get
So the discipline came natural for you.
Yeah, I guess somehow. So I never had that
Experience.
unfortunate experience of
I see.
being flogged or something by my parents. I cannot say the same of my senior brother too, so it's not as if
Okay.
it's not as if they were.
Okay, so you guys were different, kind of.
Yeah, so with my senior brother, I mean, he used to get a bit of
Spanking here and there.
somehow.
Okay. So personally, your core values, how would you describe yourself when it comes to core values, and why would you want anyone to see these core values as things they should consider?
So the number one core value I would say is integrity. Integrity with a capital I. Now that's a value that people sometimes don't understand the deep meaning of that. Integrity means you stand by your words. You do not set out to cheat the next man. You do things above board. People can look at you and say, okay, well, no, this guy, it's not going to cheat. In a profession, in accounting, in finance, if you're lacking in integrity, you cannot move up that ladder.
Integrity.
Integrity is very, very key.
If you're lacking in that in accounting, you can't move up the ladder.
You will get smoked out. You know, somehow you will, if you're not straightforward.
Because that field is such that comes with temptation as well.
See, there's nothing in life that there's no temptation.
Oh, great. Talk about
So
it.
it has to do with your core values, your assembly, your makeup, your DNA, and you know, what you expect. I think if one thing that helps is if you're a contented person.
Contentment. So
Yes.
this is making it like number 2 now. You talked about integrity, now you're linking this up with contentment.
So once you are contented and you're not trying to catch up with the Joneses, over time you will get there where yes, you can now you are now there.
You look back and you just smile and yeah.
But if in your attempt to catch up with the Joneses, you're going beyond where you should be, then you have that temptation to look for what to steal, to put it.
The shortcuts to success.
And in corporate organizations, you will get caught. Somebody will tell on you. So, I know people who started and get smoked out.
So can you remember any time your integrity level got assessed or tempted?
So, when you talk of that, as in somebody's integrity level getting tempted,
Or tested or something?
sometimes you will have vendors who think, oh, help me get this job and I'll give you a cut
Okay.
because you're in the organization. I mean, that's a common,
Yeah, there's a common happening around.
common thing that people, oh, okay, if you can get this job, or you get the job.
The brand envelope
Share the
syndrome.
profits. So you will find desperate people like that. Sometimes you get people come to tell you, oh no, I didn't get this job because somebody somewhere, you know, demanded this and that. For me, you come like that, I tell you,
My hands are.
don't even try that. In fact, I will blacklist you. Without saying I will blacklist you. Because that's the common type of, you know, of temptation you meet in the corporate world. People trying to get what they're not entitled to.
All right, so viewers, I hope you're enjoying this conversation. It's our way, it's how we do what we do. We just keep talking and we keep learning. It's still the Mind of Business with DB Adebayo. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Right, welcome back. We've been talking about core values, we talked about contentment, we talked about integrity, and we talked about from his own way how to, you know, stand against such thing where you get tempted and things like that. Okay, so let us liken your generation against the present generation or even the upcoming generation? Do you see any balance in values, approach to learning, things like that?
Yeah, so I would say that, the present generation have things, there's better level of, better material, they can reach material much easier with the internet. In those days you have to go to a physical library and look for books, some of which pages have been ripped off.
Yeah.
When you're writing thesis or trying to do some research. So now with the internet, they have it a little easier. I would say they're more aware than we were.
Okay.
Because they have information, right at your fingertips. Then you have to mine information, even when you were in school. I think they're a lot more vibrant than
our own generation, kind of.
I think there's a lot more
vibrancy
coming from the fact that there's a lot more information out there
available to them.
A lot of parents underestimate their children in terms of what they can do, what they know. And when I say children, I'm even talking of those in the late teens, not even talking of 5 years, 6 years. So they know quite a lot. Many times, because of state of society, sometimes we try to over-shelter them. But when they're on their own, they know what to do. Many of them do have also good sense of what is right and what is wrong. I would say that, of course, they didn't have to go through some of the hardship. I can remember in secondary school, you had to cut grass. And I remember them saying, you're cutting grass so you can be a great leader in the future. Grass cutting help. And I don't know, just blisters on the head. So I find it hard to make that correlation. But now in their schools, you don't find that wrinkle and cutlass like we had to.
In fact, now if you spank a student now, the teacher or whatever can be given a query. Some schools, some private schools.
Yeah, so that's the other aspect. I am not a believer in corporal punishment, unfortunately. Maybe because
you didn't experience it. But your brother might think differently,
I'm sure he thinks differently. People who experience that, they talk about it in joke. They used to beat me, but look at the rot in society. Why those people not beating when they were kids? Did that make them better leaders? I think for me the key thing is communication.
Okay.
Adult communication with the next generation of kids, because they are smarter than we think they are.
You're right.
When you carry them along and they know that, well, okay, you're treating them like young adults, that sense of responsibility comes straight. When you keep beating a child, it just becomes stubborn. I can remember they said they beat this guy because he did something wrong and he did not do that thing against him. He did the same thing again and they still beat him again for what they did that cheat. So I would say, it's a different.
But what about that part of value? Because if you look at, like you said something, you're riding your bicycle across the environment or your street and somebody is asking, hey, what of your mom? Where are you going? Value these days. Drivers of what we read about, what we see every day, especially the negative vibes, in society. So, from your own view, what do you think, can be done?
I think the root of the problem is the family institution has kind of broken down. That's the root of the problem. Family institution is not as strong as it used to be. Generally.
Yeah.
Families that have those values, and then nowadays you find all of us are behind very tall fences. So the kids want to go out. It's not like
defenseless environment like before.
It's not like making the way. Even in the rural areas, it's not as it used to be. And that's because the value system has broken down. Family, which is the bedrock of training the child. Now you find parents trying to outsource
that role to schools. You're right.
That should never be.
So this is a call. This is a call to action.
Why not talk to that child in the house and say, you shouldn't be doing this? educate the child. There are many ways to, punish a child that are effective. Beating is not necessarily the most effective.
It's okay. So viewers out there, we've talked about his journey, career-wise. There are still parts of that we're going to touch. Like I'm interested, around the period of time he got elected as the CEO of that 4G Light organization. I want us to talk about that. And also, I want us to talk about Smile. Sit back, relax. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. It's still the Mind of Business with DB Adebayo, and today we have Ehiagwina Abhulime, and he's been doing justice to our questions. Don't mind my pronunciation of the name. At his own time, he'll pronounce it the right way. I've gotten that approval to pronounce the name my way today. Right before the timeout, I talked about the fact that he got picked to be in that acting capacity, And for me, all such comes with feelings. Feelings of acceptance or joy or upliftment or whatever. But then, something about him is also worth considering. The fact that along the line of his career progression, intermittently he would have been called upon to say, okay, this person is not in, standing for this person, standing for this person. Because when I was asking about the training that, managing the suit, whatever, that was his response. So let's start with the feeling of that final, even if it's alternates, it's more final than the other. It's better than when you're just filling the gap for like 2 weeks or 1 month for someone, but now every 3 months I play this role. My CFO role is still there permanent anyway, because you told me you double up in these 2 roles whenever. Okay, so the day you were told that, okay, so you act in this capacity as an alternate MD, and this is how it will flow. What was the feeling like?
Deja vu. It was almost
like I've seen this before.
Yeah, it was almost like it's just another day's job, but now perhaps the remit is wider than it used to be.
And expectations more.
Yeah, because now your colleagues, you have to get their support as well. You're a CFO. Sometimes you will stand your ground in your role as a CFO. When you're a CEO, that also happens, but a lot more when you're acting into carry along
leadership.
Yeah. Get them to see your point of view, where you don't agree, and then at the end of the day you get to some compromise. So for me it was just another day in the office.
So how do you define leadership? Because from the response now, you're talking of the difference between that role of the CFO and the CEO. And yes, both might be such that demands for leadership skills, but one demands for it at a higher level. So how would you define leadership?
So leadership, I would say, is charting the way an organization will move in this context.
Okay.
Leadership is giving the blueprint, tweaking the blueprint to ensure that organization moves in the way that the objectives of the organization and the shareholders will be realized or exceeded. That's
Okay, that seems like I actually would like you to break it down. Don't forget, the essence of this is to enhance the learning ability of our viewers. So I want you to try and break it down. I picked points from what you said. Charting the pathway to actualize a given vision or goals or objectives. So please just kindly break that down in the way you think an average person on the street will understand.
Okay, so let's put it this way. So as an organization, you have a business plan. Business plan is, say, over the next 5-10 years where the business wants to be.
Yeah.
And the kind of market share numbers you aspire to have. Now, what the business plan does not tell you is, or all the steps you need to take.
The how.
You know, high level, give some of the thought processes around the basis of preparing that. Now, when you are a line executive, maybe like a CFO, so you report against your budget, trying to make sure you meet the tactical objectives. Now, when you're the CEO, you have to, more often than not, think outside the box to say, okay, well, yeah, these are the plans we have. How can we ensure that we grow, for example, our subscribers 30% in the next year? Of course, you have sales guys always thinking about that, but they're thinking in a normal fashion, looking at trends. You always have to come up more often than not with some more creative thought process. Different ways
on how to actualize these plans.
Strategic thinking and all of that.
So if I pick clearly now, being able to do that revolves around your definition of leadership, supplying leadership, carrying a team along to ensure you achieve set goals of an organization. All right. So Smile as an organization, how has it been? Business-wise, industry-wise, competition-wise, and personally for you?
Yeah, okay, so, Smile was the pioneer 4G player in Nigeria. I started LT about 8 years, over 8 years ago. We started in Ibadan. And then today we're in 8 cities: Lagos, Ibadan, Benin, Asaba, Port Harcourt, Abuja, Kaduna, Isha. So at that time, the broadband market was relatively small. A few players there. Smiles, Spectranet, Swift, those are the key players in that space. Selling fixed broadband to customers, so you could do your video on demand, streaming of data.
Yeah.
So now what has happened is that the GSM companies have also come into the space. The bigger GSM companies, Ntel, and that has deepened the market. Because
now highly competitive.
They have large customer bases, so they've been able to kind of sell to those customer bases the advantages of broadband. We, the small players, couldn't do that effectively. The mix of capital, marketing spends, advertising budgets, couldn't really
do that.
Take the message across the 200 million people plus of Nigeria. But the big players have now done that, and that has kind of expanded the market and created new opportunities for everybody. Well, the good thing for the customer is that competition brings better pricing. So what you find is that data prices have dropped, say, 50% in the last 1 year. Because there's a lot more players with different cost bases.
Framework,
the bigger guys have economies of scale.
Yeah.
So that has helped the consumer space, and we also, playing in the niches we can play. So I would say, business has been decent.
Okay.
We better than the challenges in the industry. The SIM card ban for 5 months. Now, national ID.
The NIN.
They've been, but these are teething problems, which at the end of the day, those will be resolved, and it makes the operating environment a lot more safer for all the players in the ecosystem. So business has not been bad.
Okay. So for you, as an individual, if you're not doing this, what would you have been doing?
That's a tough one. For somebody who, from when he was, really young, I always wanted to be an accountant. So to now roll back, if I wasn't doing this, what would I be doing? I never really thought of it.
But if you have to make a decision now, the reason why I'm asking this question is sometimes we plan for such decisions. Sometimes we don't plan for them. Okay, so we're just painting a scenario, because whatever we discuss here should be, educative enough to help our viewers, know how to move along a path. So if today you have to decide that, okay, I'm leaving this sector.
So leaving the sector not an issue, leaving the profession. Now the next The only thing left for me to do is entrepreneurship.
You have any line of business?
Several business industries. I've been
Okay.
in FMCG, I've been in oil and gas. Now spent last 17, 18 years in telco. I mean, at some point I was on the board as a non-executive director of the InterSwitch.
Okay.
Helios. So I think I've had a lot of varied experiences and exposure. So if I stop being, of course I can't work forever. I mean, I'm going to entrepreneurship.
So what's your definition of entrepreneurial?
Entrepreneurship now, as opposed to being, so you talk of factors of production. And labor, today I'm labor.
Yeah, today you're new. Yeah.
What that means is I go out there to do different businesses and catch my fancy. I mean, like I said, I'm already invested in the movie space. There's a lot of, if I was to do it full time, I mean, instead of being an executive producer, I also find some other roles in that space. I mean, I still see that there's opportunities in fintech. I could start up a fintech or partner with some people who are already there and join forces with them. These are businesses of the future where there's a lot of growth potential. Since I can even open a supermarket.
Where you said
daily cash, the supermarket, so you have daily money coming in.
yeah, because you said something actually that you've never thought of this, and it's just coming in like eating you straight like that. Well, I believe now that I've reached it, you keep thinking about it. Okay, so it's been wonderful discussing with this man here, exposing us to his person, and the journey so far. It's still the same show, The Mind of Business with DB Adebayo. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Yeah, welcome back. It's still The Mind of Business with DB Adebayo. We're still the same guy, Abhulime Ehiagwina. Now, my question, how do you relax? How do you unwind? You've been locked up in here. I cannot think of myself putting these two caps on at the same time, because that is what you do whenever it's your turn to be the acting MD. So how do you relax?
I go to the gym. The gym is an integral part of my life.
Okay.
3 times, 4 times a week. I struggle every evening. 3-4 times a week I will go to the gym, work out for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay.
And yeah, you always feel good when you do that.
Yeah,
It's a very good stress reliever. So yeah, that's occasionally I will hang out, say, look, I want to have a drink.
Okay.
I go to the movies maybe twice a month.
Okay.
Not that I plan twice a month, it just so happens that
It happens.
2 films a month I want to watch on average.
On average.
Yeah. So I mean, those are the key things.
Okay.
Sometimes we go to other towns, we just go spend weekend. Last weekend, my wife and I were in Abeokuta.
Wow.
Just go, since the kids are grown up in school.
Yeah.
So just give yourself time.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So any plan? Okay, go on.
Yeah, that's really, I mean, those are the key things I do.
Gym, hangouts, movies and all of that.
I mean, the Kuni Club, yeah, I remember, so once in a while, we do go there in the evenings. Used to be in the publications committee as well.
No, okay.
Years back. So we do a bit of service.
Yeah.
Service to humanity.
Are you a Rotarian?
No.
I'm saying service to humanity because that is the language in Rotary. It's a kind of a statement in Rotary. Yeah, that is what Rotary is all about, service to humanity. I'm a Rotarian, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so any plans for this evening? I know we still have a few more things to talk about, but I see that people are already leaving the office and things like that. Any plan for the evening?
Yeah, we'll go have some grill somewhere, make you
No, okay.
go there, nice place.
Oh, okay. It wouldn't be a bad idea for the viewers to see you do that. And why we do that with you. Guys, sit back, relax. We'll be back. Probably when we get to that location, or even as we step out of here. We'll be right back.